Hi, I'm Sarah with People for Bikes. Thanks for joining us in this series as we share our passion for making biking better for everyone. Today, many people around the world know Copenhagen as a city worth learning from. It's one of the world's safest, greenest, most prosperous, and most egalitarian. But few know the remarkable story of how the city has evolved. Today's bike-friendly Copenhagen is the product of more than 50 years of dedicated investment and hard work, a far cry from the city famous for its cars and traffic jams in the 1960s. Starting in the 1970s, the city gradually replaced parking lanes and parking lots with protected bike lanes and public cafes. Traffic speeds fell, and parking became more difficult. But in exchange, other things happened too. The city became quieter and cleaner, even as it added residents and jobs. Increasingly, it became a tourist destination and also a place where people became eager to live and work. Today, more than half of the people living in Copenhagen commute by bike daily. Nearly 300 miles of elevated cycle tracks, carefully planned intersections, and convenient bike parking prioritizes cycling above all other modes of transportation. To learn what makes Copenhagen so great for biking, we spoke with Marie Katestrup, the city's bicycling program manager. For more than 12 years, Marie has led the newest wave of improvements for cycling, seeking to make a great city for biking even better.
We have a very extensive network of physically segregated bicycle tracks. So we have curb separation between the bicycle track and the driving lane, and also between the bicycle track and the sidewalk. It's really important to design intersections in a way that allows for the best flow for cyclists, but also, of course, the best safety and also the perceived safety. So these three factors we really seek to prioritize when we design our intersections. So in some places we have specific bicycle traffic lights that give the cyclists a head start, so they get green light maybe 5-10 seconds before the cars, so that they are already out in the intersection and they are more visible. We also withdraw the stop line for cars so that the cyclists physically placed ahead of the cars in the intersection. Again, they get a little head start, they're more visible. We also have blue asphalt across the intersection where the bicycles are going. So these are some examples of how we design the intersections in a way that accommodate both the safety, the perceived safety, and the flow for bicycle traffic. The layout of Copenhagen is influenced by a central canal. So we've built around between 15 and 20 car-free bridges the last 15 years. And what we see now is that the bridges we were designing 15 years ago for maybe, say, 3,000 cyclists a day, today we have over 20,000 cyclists using it daily. It's so popular. And so, of course, there is the time-saving effect, because you get a shortcut across the city that you cannot have if you're using a car or if you're sitting in a bus. It's only pedestrians and cyclists who get this shortcut.
In 2016, the number of bicycles crossing the city on a daily basis surpassed cars for the first time since data collection began in 1970. Simply put, bicycling is the fastest, easiest, and most convenient way of getting around. Today, there are more than 675,000 bicycles in Copenhagen, a number that outpaces car ownership by 6-1. No matter if the forecast is sunshine, rain, hail, or snow, you will see people, all ages and abilities, riding bikes as the best solution for getting around the city.
If you would go out on a random street and stop a cyclist and ask that person, do you identify as a cyclist? They would probably say no. They would probably say, oh, I'm a Copenhagener. I support this football team. I'm a dad. I'm an opera lover. And by the way, I took the bike this morning because it's fast and it's easy. So in Copenhagen, cycling is so ubiquitous, it's so normalized that people don't really put a lot of identity into cycling because everyone bikes. It's like brushing your teeth. Most people brush their teeth, but they don't identify as toothbrushers because it's so normal, it makes sense. I think maybe 20 years ago, it was the norm to buy a car because that was sort of the cultural norm that when you have children, you need a car because it's more practical. Of course, this also still happens today. You have families buying cars in Copenhagen, but now we see many families buying a cargo bicycle instead, so a three-wheel bicycle, sometimes even with electrical assist so that it's easier to maneuver. And what we see is that many families, they now spend most of their week not using their car. Even families who own a car, it will sit still for most of the week because it's just easier to get around by bike and public transportation in Copenhagen. We do have cars in Copenhagen, but in general, Copenhageners, they mostly use walking, cycling, and public transportation. Cycling and walking give the children a lot of independence and freedom. We see that children and youth in Copenhagen, they have a lot of independence because they are not bound up to being driven around in a car.
To spend time in Copenhagen is to understand that the point of a connected, high-comfort bike network isn't just to get more people on bikes. It's to make an entire city better by creating business districts and entertainment spots that don't have to be surrounded by vast parking lots. It's to make streets safer for driving, biking, and walking alike. It's to live in a city full of people who are happy and healthy.
I think part of the reason why Copenhagen has been so successful in maintaining political ownership to cycling, but also to target our initiatives in a way that cycling has really been taken up by the broad population, is that we work very seriously with documentation. First of all, we use it to monitor the progress of our political goals. So we have a series of political goals for 2025 that we should have 50% of trips to work and study in Copenhagen by bike. And we also have other goals about perceived safety, actual safety, the satisfaction with bicycle parking, etc., etc. So by continuously monitoring the progress in reaching the political goals, we can help the politicians assess, are we investing enough? What are we doing? But also communicating directly to the citizens about our initiatives. What we also do is that we ask the citizens, how are they satisfied with different aspects of our cycling infrastructure? Satisfaction with the width of the bicycle tracks, the amount of bicycle tracks, bicycle parking at stations, at shops, etc. So we have all these parameters that we are monitoring over almost 2 decades. So this is a very useful tool to be able to document both our successes, but also the potentials of improvement. And then we can have more thematic analysis and results that we can dive into. For example, cycling and health. What are the health benefits? Cycling and long-term commuting. Cycling in more low-income neighborhoods, etc.
The results of such a rich cycling legacy are undeniable. Fewer than 3 out of 100,000 Danes die in traffic each year, less than a third of the US rate. Even better, Copenhagen is home to one of Europe's strongest urban economies and is a significant hub for creative and digital startups. And it's no secret that biking also contributes to its residents describing themselves as the happiest in the world. Visit our City Ratings website for more tools and resources that will improve the health, livelihood, and future of our streets, cities, and planet. Together, let's create a better world through bikes.